Hello. Let's see. Buenos dias. My name is Elaine, and I'm a compulsive overeater. I live currently in Washington, D.C. Maria, thank you so much for asking me to speak. And Diana, thank you so much for your service on this meeting. It's lovely to see all of you. And it's even more lovely to be connected and part of an international group of people, a fellowship all over the world, coming together to fight this disease of compulsive overeating. I am so grateful to be part of such a community. This week, I celebrated 90 days of back-to-back GreySheet abstinence. And for that, I am so truly, truly thankful, full of gratitude, and truly blessed. And I would like to share my journey, how it was before, how I got to GreySheet, and how it's been since then. I will try to be mindful of the time. Diana, are you timing this? So maybe, could you tell me when I have 10 minutes in and 5 minutes left? So just that 10-minute mark would be good, yeah? Okay, thank you. So I grew up in a small family, a Catholic family in upstate New York. So way north of New York City, in a rural town. My mom was a florist. My father was a state trooper, a policeman. We did not have a lot of money and not a lot of extra food, really. And I was not a fat kid, really skinny, in fact. I did not have an eating problem. All of this was true through my elementary, high school years. Then I went to college. And I was really naive. I was 17. I was very young, very naive. And an incident happened in the college with some boys from the dormitory. A sexual incident, very bad. Like a molestation. And after that happened, I became very, very sad, very depressed, truly devastated. And at that point, I turned to food for comfort. I started eating, and I went from a small size 6, 8, to very heavy. I put on 50, 60 pounds in 1 year. And I was 18 years old at that time. And that began a lifetime for me of binge eating and dieting. I went through many, many cycles of binge eating and dieting, years where I was just eating, and then many years where I was trying to restrict the food, lose the weight, and diet. It was very depressing, very lonely. I didn't seek out any help for the molestation that had happened, no help. And I tried to do it alone. I isolated. I did not confide in my family, but I ate and ate and ate. So much food. I graduated from the college and moved to New York City. And I got on a diet and I lost some weight. I got into law school, but my brain was not working well. I was always fuzzy. So even though I got into law school, when I went to take the bar exam, I failed it 2 times, passed on the 3rd time. I just was not thinking clearly at all. And I'm not even sure I knew that that was the situation until this year. I don't want to skip ahead too much, but this year I realized that now that I'm not on the sugar and on the carbs, I can think so clearly and focus at work. But at that time, no, I was a muddy mess. So I finally passed the bar examination and I got a good job. And through dieting, I was able to keep the weight down somewhat, but I was always binging. As soon as the diet stopped, back in the food I was, and I would put on all the weight that I had lost, plus some. So, for example, I would be 70 kilos, and then I would go on a diet, and then I would go back up to 80 kilos, and I would go on a diet, then 90 kilos. And now finally, the cycle was up and down. I started taking diet pills, speed, amphetamine, diet pills. Very bad for my body. And they would also have a laxative effect. So I lost weight with the diet pills, but they're very bad. And if I ate anything with carbohydrate, I would immediately have diarrhea. And I started a cycle of constantly binging on carbs and having all of this diarrhea. So I was skinny on the outside, but I was a mess on the inside, a mess. During this time, I met my now husband. I am married. I have 2 beautiful children, 11 and 13. I'm so grateful for those blessings that happened, while I was still in the food, but something good happened there. And I'm so grateful for that. However, even when I was dating my husband, all weekend long, I would eat like a bird, small meals, little portions. And then I would come back to my own apartment and I would eat as much as possible. So I would never eat in front of anybody else, just by myself. Solo, in isolation, nobody else. Just me eat so much food and eat I would eat. We got married and we moved immediately to Africa, to Kenya. And my husband would fly on trips all over the world, and I was home with the small babies, and I would eat and eat and eat. And then the weight really started to come on. 100 kilos, 110 kilos, 120 kilos, I think is the top weight. We moved back to the United States in the pandemic, and I hit my rock bottom. I was miserable, very heavy, isolated in the house with the pandemic, and still eating. And I could not stop eating. I could not stop eating. Christmas this year, 2022 Christmas, I went to the church. I got on my knees and I said a prayer. I said, God, can you please help me with this condition? I cannot lose the weight. I cannot lose it for anything. I cannot stop eating at all. 2 days later, I was on the computer and I found GreySheeters Anonymous. I made one phone call and I got a person who said, you have to buy a scale and you have to get a sponsor. I got a scale and I got a temporary sponsor. I made the calls. And the next day I was abstinent. Okay. This is January 2nd, 2023. It was not easy at first. I didn't like it one bit. But I have not wanted to eat. It got a little easier, day by day. Day 53, I made a mistake with some vegetables. I left them in the microwave I didn't call my sponsor. I did not call my sponsor right away. And she put me back on day one. Day one. I did not eat anything outside of the gray sheet, but I had made a mistake and I accepted it. So back on day one. After that point, though, it was easy. I fully surrendered. I did not make any more big mistakes. And if I did, I called my sponsor right away. Since that time, I was able to get the 90 days back to back. During the abstinence, I had bad skin. My skin was terrible. My hair was not good. My breath was bad. I had a coated tongue. Awful. Slowly by slowly, this went away. The skin cleared up. The hair started to become better, and the bad breath went away. The aches and pains in my body went away. They disappeared. The inflammation went away. I had chronic migraines before I came in. Debilitating migraines disappeared. I now sleep from 9 o'clock at night. I go to bed. I wake up at 6 in the morning. I'm getting 8, 9 hours of sleep a night, which is a miracle. It's a miracle. I am fully there for my family and my children now. Before I was in the food and I was crazy. Now I am there as a better mother. I'm a better mother. At work is the most surprising thing. I could not concentrate before. I could not focus. Now it's easy. I am clear. I focus in the afternoon. And I only know that this is going to get better as my abstinence continues. I call my sponsor and speak to her every day. I write down the food. I want to show, I have a journal and I write down every day. This is really good because if I have a stomach ache, if I have some bad reaction, I just go back and I see. And so together, my sponsor and I have said, no more soy, no more tahini. Okay, I'm just going to say these foods because for me, they don't work. Okay, for somebody else, they may work great. For me, they don't work. And I know because I wrote it down. And now I don't have to guess anymore what is causing the pain. Today, well, I am starting to jog. And on Easter Sunday, I ran 5K. I've never done that in my life. So I was so happy. I know, right? It's good. I was able to, with this program, let go of 50 pounds. How many kilos? I want to know the kilo. I don't know how many kilos. 50 pounds. 50 pounds. Okay. Fantastic. I mean, I'm so different. I lost 1 shoe size because my fat feet have shrunk. 1 shoe size. 4 dress sizes. Small. And I'm halfway to my goal, let's say, halfway, maybe a little more. So that's great. I cannot do this alone. I need all of you. I need all of you. And it means everything to me to make a call to somebody who is struggling, to make a call to somebody just to say, hi, how are you? Or I loved your share. Or let's have coffee. I love that so much. I'm not alone. My first impulse is to isolate, but I try not to do that because I know that you have what I need to stay abstinent. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much for asking me to speak today. And I'm so glad to be doing this with all of you.